In this episode of Testing All the Things, we're going to play with a different concept in testing. We're going to play with the concept test and commit or revert, first conceived by Oddman Stromer. Hi, I'm Mark Bradley and welcome to Testing All the Things, a screencast in which we use live coding to demonstrate different types of testing tools and techniques. In this video, we're going to look at test and commit or revert. This is a concept where you run your tests, and if the tests pass, your code is automatically committed. But if your tests fail, your code is reverted and you start again. I first come across this concept listening to Brian Oken's Test and Code podcast. Let's look at the code. I've been wanting to play with test and commit or revert for quite some time. So let's look at how I've got the setup. For this demonstration, we're going to use two different setups to make the commit and revert happen. The first one is a simple one. I've added a make target in my make file. When I run my make target TCR, the first thing it does is it runs PHP unit. Now, if the PHP unit passes and returns a 0 exit code, then the next thing it does is it does git commit for everything that's changed with the message work in progress with. Or if it's a non-zero exit code, then it's going to run git reset with the hard flag and delete everything that I've just written. This is the simplest way to use test, commit or revert. Let's have a play with that. First time round, we're just going to create a class and we'll call it failing test. Okay. And extend the test case. We'll add one test. And to make it fail, very simply, we are going to assert true is false. Okay. So we can see that fail normally just by running vendor bin PHP unit on its own. And as we expected, asserting that false is true. So exactly as we expected, it fails. So now let's run our make target. Make test commit revert. Okay, and now we've got the same failure happening, but as soon as the failure is happening, we can see here that head is now this commit, and that's the last commit I made. One thing I have found with test commit revert is you've got to be really careful because I had a typo in my make file and I fixed it and I tested it and it reverted the make file change because I forgot to commit that before I continued with the actual implementation testing. So that's one thing you definitely need to be really careful of, is making sure all of your setup is done before you start to code, because otherwise you can lose your setup and it can really cause you a lot of pain. Okay, so that file now, if we click on it, has completely disappeared. It's all been deleted. So now let's add a passing test to show you how that works. So add a new class, passing test, add that. We're going to keep this one, so let's make it look a bit neater. Why not? And extend test case, and new test, passing. Okay, and really simple. This assert true, true. So another really simple test. I won't bother showing you this time, just PHP unit running. I'm just going to run the make target, so make TCR. And this time the tests have gone green and we have a commit. So if we look at the git log now, git log, we can see that our last commit was entitled whip. So we're making good progress now. So that test is now in. So if we just retidy it up, save and run it again. And we've got another commit. Now if we look at our log, it's really nice tidy code, and 2 whips, and then that typo that we saw. So that's working really nicely, and it's really simple to use. Now, the idea behind this is to kind of encourage you to write your test and your implementation in really small iterations. So that's the really simple form of using just a make file and a make target. What I could do is I could set up a make target up here. So if I just do this quickly, so make test commit revert, and pick the make file. That one, and target is that one. Okay, and we'll share that. Apply. Okay. So now what I can do is if I run this here, okay, so nothing to commit, but it just allows me to kind of run things quicker. I don't have to go and type, I can just hit and run it over and over again. So that's the first way you can use test commit revert. Another great way is a JetBrains plugin that does it all for you. So if you look at my preferences setup, the plugin's called Limited Whip. And it's got a few different options, but the one we're interested in for today is the bottom one, the TCR mode. So we can enable it, and you can do different things on pass. So you can commit, you can amend a commit, or you can commit and push, or you can open the commit dialog and write your own commit message if you want to work in that way where you want kind of your own messages for each of the commits, then this is the way you use that. For now, we're just going to use the commit option, and we'll just let it, you can again, got a few options for what commit message it uses. We're just going to use the last commit, and we can notify on revert. And this is one I really like. This allows it, makes kind of TCR a little softer, where it only reverts the implementation files and not the test files. So that gives you a kind of somewhere to start from again, rather than having to write the test out again. Let's, for now, we'll keep the tests disappearing as well as the implementation. And if we enable this, so we now got this passing test. So we will add a new test, another passing, and this assert false. Okay, so we'll save that. And now instead of running my make target, I can run my unit test normally. So if I hit run, there we go. So we can see that it has passed. And hopefully if we go now to look at our logs, so last one was EE3, hopefully there should be a new commit. So we'll just check that out. There you go, 885. And it's just giving empty message, which is fine. So there we go. So that works perfectly now. And then so we can check the same. So if we add a failure to this one, so this assert, let's go back to the run, assert false, and instead of false we'll give it true, and save, and run the tests. Okay, and the code's gone again. So that's a really nice way of doing it. What you can do if you want to take it even a step further is if you enable this toggle here for auto test, your test will run every time you save. So if we do $this, assert false, true, and save, and test run, and code goes. So if we do make it pass this time, assert false and pass false again, save, test runs, and we'll have another commit. So as you can see, it encourages you to work in very short iterations. If you're writing massive, large tests, then test commit revert's really going to hit you hard. If you spent 20 minutes writing a test and then you start, another 20 minutes, say, writing an implementation, that's 40 minutes work, and you suddenly save or you run your tests and all of that work disappears, you're going to find that really frustrating quite quickly. So that's the kind of 2 ways to set up test and commit or revert. And now what we'll do is we'll play with it for a bit. So I'm going to just quickly do really simple implementation of FizzBuzz using test, commit, revert. Let's see how it goes. So I haven't practiced a lot with test, commit, revert, so you can see how often I'm losing code and things. So FizzBuzz test. Okay, so we've got our test. Extends test case. Okay, we are right. Now you can see how annoying it is. Right, I didn't have any tests, so my test failed, so I lost my tests. Right, okay, this is a very fun thing. Right, so I need to add a placeholder test for the starting point. Let's do that. So fizz buzz test. Right, do not save. Concentrate on this one. Okay, there we go. Right, and we're going to extend test case. Oh, hitting save's really right. New test. No. Okay, it's doing things for me. Right, I'm going to turn off this auto testing for a little bit because I think otherwise I'm going to be screaming down the microphone. Right, let's try it one more time. Okay, so fizz buzz test. There we go. Okay, auto not running. Excellent. Extends test case. And there we go. There we go. Okay, so let's start our FizzBuzz class as well. FizzBuzz. Okay, right. So first test. Let's lay everything out nicely. Just move it over to the right. Get rid of this. Don't need this anymore. Okay. So let's go. So we'll start with. So I'm going to go with an implementation where you pass in an array to a run function on the instance of FizzBuzz. In fact, we can make a static function. Let's do that to speed things up. So we're going to have a static function on FizzBuzz that takes an array and runs FizzBuzz over it. So if you've not seen FizzBuzz before, it's very simple. You have a set of numbers, and if it's divisible by 3, you replace it with the word fizz in the array, and if it's divisible by 5, then you replace it with the word buzz in the array, and if it's divisible by 3 and 5, you write fizz and buzz and replace it with that string. So say we passed in the numbers 1 through to 6, it would be 1, 2, fizz, 4, buzz, 6. That's how it works. So we're going to start implementing that. So start with our first test. Numbers, just numbers. So we're going to have a test called just numbers, which so we can do dollar output equals what is the output? Output equals FizzBuzz run, and it takes 1 and 2 and 4. So those are numbers that will not get altered by the run. So we do $this. So we're going to expect equals, and so give your expected. Let's just do make this into a variable. No, that call that input. So expect $input. So that's expected and output. There we go. Okay. Right. So I'm not going to run this because I'll make a test file. So I need to implement this to make this pass. So let's command option enter. Add method, public static function, run array input. Perfect. And to make it pass, we can do return $input and run. Oh no, FizzBuzz class not found. Oh, that's fun. Why is that not found? Oh, what did I do wrong? Okay. This is going to be a really tedious video if this carries on. Okay, start again. Fizz buzz. I tell you what, I'm going to write this in absolute silence and I will speed up the video for this bit because otherwise you're going to get really bored. So test. So silence from now. Okay, I wanted to test that this was going to actually get committed before I continued. So I think one of the things I've learned is maybe the soft reverting where it doesn't trash out your test, just gets rid of your implementation file would really be a good starting place if you're trying to learn how to use test, commit and revert. Now we've got that working, should run, so we'll run our tests. So save, excellent, test passes. Whew, nothing's going to be deleted. Right, okay. So let's do just numbers. What's the next thing we can do? We'll now give it a set of numbers that should just return fizz. New test method fizz number fizz. Okay, so we've got input is so we are looking for numbers divisible by 3. So we'll go with 3 and 6 and 9. Really easy. So they should return. So it should return fizz, fizz, fizz. So if we take this bit and assert equals, so this time it's an array of fizz. Three times. There we go. Oh, let's go with this here. There we go. Okay, so there is our test. So now we need to run our implementation. So let's, how can we do it? Right, okay, we'll just do this. So for, choose a for, do for I, not auto. Okay, fine. I equals 0. That format. I haven't written a for loop in a while. I is less than count of the inputs and I plus plus. There we go. There we go. Okay. If dollar count input at I is modulus of 3 0, then it equals the word fizz. Oh, this is going to look really stupid if I got this wrong. I think that no, I got it wrong. What would I do? I forgot a dollar somewhere, and I lost everything. Oh, this is so much fun. Right, let's try this again. Do you know what? Before we try this again, I am going to go to my preferences and I am going to keep the tests. Otherwise, it's going to be a really long night. Right, here we go. So, public function test viz numbers. Here we go. Okay, so let's speed through this. Copy paste. Okay. So it was 3 and 6 and 9, and the output should now be an array of fizz. Oh, there we go. Okay. If we give it 369, right, it should. Right, I'm gonna test this. Hang on, I'm gonna keep a copy of this and make sure because I haven't tested the keep tests. Oh, it kept the test. Excellent. Right, okay. Good. Should have trusted it all along. Right, okay. Let's now go back to the implementation. Right, for $I equals 0, I is less than count of the input, and I plus plus. Oh, so much fun. Here we go. And if $input of $I, sorry, I'm going to say dollar a lot now, modulus 3 equals 0, what's it going to be? Oh yeah, sorry. We reset the value of that to fizz lowercase. Right, let's read through it. I think that let's do it. Can only go wrong, can't it? Hey, and a commit. Or hey, nice. Oh gosh, did not realize how stressful this would be. Right, that's much more fun. Okay, so now we'll move on to some buzz numbers. So new test method. So buzz numbers. Okay, so we'll take the same. And so we want divisible by 5, so we'll go 5 and 10. We can't go 15 because that's also divisible by 3, so we can pick 20. There we go. So that should work. So that now needs to be buzz. Okay, so that is ready to rock and roll. So we're not going to test run. So for this one, we'll do else if, yeah, we can take all of this malarkey and change that to 5, and whack that there, and then we set it to buzz. Save. Okay, run the tests. Okay, cool. Right, so that is working. So we can go on to our final test. Public function. Let's see, test fizz buzz numbers. In fact, yeah. Instead of fizz buzz numbers, let's just do loads of numbers. There we go, more fun. Okay, so final test we can do. So we'll take our input, output here, copy. So we'll do, here we go, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6, 8 and 9 and 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Okay, we'll bring this down. Right, output. So let's copy this. Copy. So let's do all the fizzes first. So we know 3 and 6 and 9 and 12 and also 15. Okay, and now let's bring the buzzes through. So copy, which is 5 and 10 and also 15. So the final one should be fizzbuzz. There we go. Right. So we can. There's a really easy way to do this, which is probably rubbish, but hey ho. I don't want my code to be deleted just yet. Copy that and that. Okay, and then copy that and else on this. Hideous, but it's gonna work hopefully. So, oh no, it wasn't gonna work. Bars. Now it should work. Okay, run. Brilliant, green, yes. Okay. Oh. And now this is where it kind of becomes interesting because obviously I've already said that I potentially do not think this is the neatest way to implement FizzBuzz, but it's working for now. And if I wanted to refactor it and started, make small changes to it and kept saving, I would see the same kind of revert. So if I, let's see, so if we decide that this is definitely hideous and removed it, and save, and run the tests, and we're back to where we were, and then we run tests again, and we're green, which is really cool. I'm not going to do any more refactoring tonight, but as you can see, it's quite a fun way to work with test and commit or revert. I highly recommend giving it a go. I definitely start off with a small, simple code kata like FizzBuzz or something reasonably simple to get your head around it and play with it. But yeah, give it a go. It's really good fun. It really encourages you to write very small tests and think really clearly about your tests. And I'd highly recommend potentially when you're starting not having your tests reverted as well as your implementation code, because otherwise, I don't know, you're going to spend a lot of your day laughing, definitely. That's it for tonight's episode. I hope you enjoyed it. I definitely did. Thank you for watching this episode of Testing All the Things. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please rate and review the video and subscribe to the channel. If you did not and you have any feedback, please leave a comment in the comment section of the video or contact me on Twitter @Bradle.